is to not increase your speed at any, or not your speed, but your tension at any point in the motion. With me on that? Anybody want to disagree or ask a question on that one? It's the same around the green. If you don't like what you're looking at, you will grab it at the last second, won't you?
Yeah.
So Zing, is that why the grip's tapered? Because it kind of cinches on its own? It kind of, if it tried to come out of your hands, it would get tighter on its own.
It should get tighter on its own. That may be. But when I'm making a pitching motion, all the speed in this motion is going to happen here to here. There's no slow speed here. My goal is to get the, if I want to pitch the ball in the air, there's two different ways to hit a shot around the green. You can chip it, and a chip is when the ball gets out in front of the face. A pitch is when the club head gets past the ball, and you can hit it in the air. Generally, a chip goes low and a pitch goes high, right? If I want to pitch the ball, if I want to put a little spin on it, I try to get the shaft to 90 degrees at impact. Not a lot of shaft lean, 90 at impact. But the overall goal is the incredible lack of tension in the motion. Watch the lack of tension. The club's designed to work a certain way, isn't it? These are pitches. The ball's going up in the air. I get the club to 90. You see me adding any speed there? It's happening on its own. The speed is at the very bottom. From here to here. But it's a lack of tension that's going to make the difference. I don't add grip pressure at any point in that motion. Can it look any easier than that? Why does it have to be so difficult? It doesn't matter the line. The motion is the same. If I want to clip it off of here,
He wants you to clip it off the green.
I can, but I can remind you. And I think all of you know, if you, I mean, you know, you guys are all pretty good athletes, I guarantee you. The club's designed to work a certain way. Your athleticism comes out when you're not squeezing it.
What about ball position, the chip versus the pitch?
You got to feel if you're gonna, well, if you're gonna chip it, the ball's back and you have shaft lean.
Okay.
I'd probably chip this 9 times out of 10 that way, and just try to run it out with good speed. I will naturally grab it. The grip pressure happens naturally. Okay, so I move it back to chip it because I want the leading edge to hit the ground, you know, at the ball or just in front of the ball. If I want to pitch it, that's the bounce, the bottom hitting. And you got to figure out where it's going to bottom out if you want to pitch it. And that's what practice swings are for. You're trying to measure up. Where's the bottom going to hit? And let the bottom hit. The bottom bounces. It's called bounce for a reason. It will bounce. See that? Bounces. I can't even make a divot if I make it bounce. Can't make a divot. But buddy, that leading edge, I can make a divot pretty quick, can't I? Gotta let that club bounce if you're gonna pitch it. And so when I'm making a practice swing, I'm trying to see, I'm gonna measure that up a little bit. Try to let it bounce. My hope is that when the bell rings, you can play today and tomorrow and the next day, understanding at no point do you grab it with tension. At no point, don't let it tense. Redmond, my coach used to tell me, son, I want that thing quiet at the top. If you grab it, the speed comes at the wrong spot. Jackie Burke used to say, you can only get speed one time in the golf swing. It better be the right time. And when's the right time? Right here at the bottom. And how does that happen? It's generally a lack of tension. Body turns, the arms come along and carry the message. You know? See how soft that is? There's no urgency in that motion.
Hey, Paul, when you did that chipping lesson at the concession, you talked a lot about playing the ball up front on some of these pitches, and with the club handled back more.
I like to handle back.
It was a new swing that I'd never realized you could do with a chip.
I like to start with the shaft at 90 degrees at impact, not 88 or 70. Not back here too much. I mean, sometimes I'll move the club back. There's two ways to open the club face when you play golf. You can actually screw it open, or you can move your hands back. You can double open. You can screw it open and move your hands back. There's no rules with a wedge. There aren't any rules. If you like the ball up here, you're going to have to figure out if you can bottom out up there. That's 90. Bottoming out is getting the shaft straight up and down at the bottom. And this part will hit, not the leading edge. But do it without adding any tension. Wouldn't it be great the more pressure that was on you, the more you were choking, like if the last hole on Sunday, and you know everybody just told you what you got to do, and you could do it tension-free? Club's designed to work on its own. The great athletes are tension-free.
Well, do you tip with the same club all the time?
No. I use this the most, though.
What loft is that?
It's a 60.
60.
You know, you hear people say powerless effort versus effortless power. How do you get effortless power? Just relaxed. It's just nice and relaxed. Tightens on its own. So my goal when I'm hitting full shots is to compress the ball. If I can compress the ball, I can have great joy playing golf. If I can't compress it, it's just an awful game. You know, a good player's divot is on that side of the ball, hitting this one. A poor player's divot's back here, right? So you gotta, I mean, all you guys are getting your divot over here for the most part. Very few of you are Larry Layback. Most of you are getting your divot over here. That's a descending blow. That's what you want. Once you can get your divot here, you can hit a hook. Once you can hit a hook, you can be a good player. But if you can get your divot on this side of the ball, you can compress it. The only way to compress it is to get the speed in the right spot. So what do you look for? If I'm giving a lesson, is the speed in the right spot? That's number one. Can he compress it? What comes first? Does he compress it first, or is the speed in the right spot first? I don't know, but I know one thing. If the speed's not in the right spot, you can't compress it. How do you get the speed in the right spot? You just relax your arms. At address. How nice a shot can you hit? Being as careless as you can be, can you still hit a decent shot? That's how relaxed I'd like you to be. And wouldn't it be awesome if you could retain that in the downswing? See, most tension is somewhere in the motion. Somewhere in the motion that we grab it. We grab it. Man, that thing will grab on its own. It grabs naturally right at the bottom because we've never seen anybody let go, have we? We naturally grab. The only time you're going to feel that club turning in your hands is when you're holding it too tight. So start relaxed. Let it grab naturally at the bottom, just like you would if you were swinging that axe on that upswing to take out that last chunk. And
You never play with Sully?
Huh?
You never play with Sully?
Yeah.
He lets go to club about every 2-3 rounds.
That's the way it goes flying?
Oh, yeah.
This way?
Yeah.
Straight to the ground? That's late, though. That's a late let go. I've done that myself a few times. See the lack of tension in that motion?
God.
Wouldn't you love to do that on your full swing? That's where all the speed comes in. That's when you see effortless power. You see effortless power when a guy's throwing a fly rod. How about throwing a football? I mean, your arm's relaxed, you're throwing a football. You don't really feel any pressure on a football too much until it comes whooping out of your fingers. It's natural at the bottom, the impact, the release zone. You can only get speed one time. It better be the right time. How do you get the speed? Relaxed. Through the hip. What if you were free on that side of the ball? Wouldn't that be nice? You can only do that with a lack of tension. And I'm talking about here. Don't grab it here today. Just be nice and free. Feel like, how relaxed can I be at address? How long can I retain that? Holy shit, I hit a good one. You can do it being careless. Try to see how careless with respect to tension you can be and still hit a decent shot, and then maybe add to it. You got to decide where you want to be tension level at address, and how long can you maintain that throughout the hit. You'll naturally grab it at the bottom. Then you can compress it. You get your divot on that side, which I think you guys all do. Then you can compress it. It doesn't matter if you're Lydia Ko swinging hardly at all with speed and power. Those women can compress the ball. The speed's got to be in the right spot to compress the ball.
So Zing, out here, if you get pin high and you miss the green,
Yeah.
90% of the time I feel short-sighted.
Right.
And so, if you had to go up, what different things do you do to get that thing to go way up and come down like a butterfly with sore feet?
The best players are able to pitch the ball up in the air a little bit and stop it. Now, there's a difference in a trick shot and a functional shot. If you want a trick shot, that's this shit. You know, like I'll try to whiff it. Trick shot. Big swing, no follow through.
There you go.
Let gravity bring it down. That's the one you want. Gravity brings that thing down, man. I'm not grabbing that thing. You guys are athletes out here, and you're in control of this shit. You're the only one in control of the face. I can't feel for you. Feel creates thought. But how can you feel if you're squeezing it? Man, you can feel when you're like this, can't you? Feel that club head. But if I just want to pitch it right there, I usually make a big backswing, short follow.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Right? But it's a tension-free effort. You see a guy grabbing it or squeezing it at any point in the motion, he's giving himself some trouble like that. You're not trusting that somebody, through millions of dollars of R&D, figured out how that thing's supposed to function. It functions all on its own, and you got to let it function. If your body's getting the divot on the right side of the ball and you're moving correctly, that's great. If you're not, that's another story. We'll work on that story another day, but not before a 3-day event. My only advice to you today is to try to stay, whatever you decide is relaxed at address, try to retain it throughout the motion. The motion only takes a second or a second and a half. If you can have feel trump thought, then that second or second and a half of motion can be thought through. What does every great athlete say in their moment of greatness? Shooting a basket, tennis, throwing a ball, hitting it, whatever. What were you thinking? They all say the same thing, nothing. Is it possible then that conscious thought when they're not great interrupts their motion? Is that possible? Conscious thought. The motion's only a second or a second and a half. If you could do the motion word free, man, how fun would that be? That's where we get to. We're word free. We're lack of tension. We're feeling it. You got a better record than me, you must have had better feel than me. I'll give it to you. Because I remember my swing thoughts from 1987, but I can't feel that anymore. You know what I mean? I can still remember it to this day. I remember what I was thinking on the last shot to the last green with a 1-shot lead, but I can't feel it as well. See what I'm saying? But when you take the tension out, I'm getting all these reminders, hitting all these balls now. Oh yeah, I remember that feeling, And then the goal is to repeat it. The best way to repeat it is not be grabbing it at any point in that motion. You don't want to grab. So like little tricks for me, I'll double open if I want to pitch it there. I'll get my weight back. You never hear that. And then I'll make a nice backswing and a short follow through. Gravity's bringing that thing down. I'm not bringing it down. You with me on that? Well, you know, if you're decelerating, you're probably grabbing it, or you're probably falling back. See, like to me, it's an attitude. Every player hits every shot with some form of intention. So like my attitude is I evaluate the lie. And I'm thinking, this is how I think. Can I whiff that? Can I actually swing and have the ball go straight down? And this one I'm thinking, I don't believe I can. No matter what, if I try to whiff it, I cannot. It's going to go that way. So I've decided in my mind, if I can't whiff it, I'm going to try to whiff it. Because no matter what, it's going to go this way. So if I can't whiff it, I'm going to try to whiff it. Why? Because I whiff it. I know I can't leave it. I evaluated that. But if I try to whiff it, I'll never send it. Does that make sense? What do you do on a bad pitch? Either leave it or you send it. Either long or short. So you got to evaluate it. I evaluate every lie. I can't whiff that. So I'm going to try to whiff it. Like, let's do it right here. I'll try to whiff. Then I don't slow down. You see? I tried to whiff that. What if I had a lie that I could whiff? Now I got to measure it up. So that's okay. You just measure it up. What if you got a lie down here where you can't whiff? Now you know you're in deep shit. You're not even sure you can get this thing to go under the ball.